Good afternoon everyone, I'm Gary Martin and today we've got Rob back on the channel and you've had about 4 weeks now between your last lesson, haven't you?
Yeah.
And how have you found you've been getting on?
All right, I've been working on all the different areas of it, you know, from picking the grip up, alignment, and as Eric Moker might have said, I'm doing all the right moves but not necessarily in the right order.
So with Rob, you know, we did a little bit on swing playing, didn't we? We've got a bit of a battle with Rob and swing playing where, you know, obviously we make some improvements, but then like most people, after time, you fall back into your old habits, don't you? So we've been battling, we've tried to get Rob on playing because he's been coming over the top, and I'll tag that last lesson where I felt he did really well. But, you know, during your warm-up today, it's quite clear to see that sort of over-the-top movements come back in a little bit. And we're going to have a look at, you know, a little bit more on why that might have happened. And if there's any other ways we can you know, explain to Rob and try and help him get more on playing, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. And you know, for someone like Rob who's quite big and you know you're quite well built, you know, upper body wise, aren't you? He has got some limitations in his body, and I think they could be hindering you.
I think the thing is, if you just think about swing playing and not coming over the top, I get that ironed out, but then I forget about weight transference. So it's like one thing goes when I add another thing on.
And you know what, Rob, these guys will relate to that, because I remember being a newer golfer myself, and you know, you get one thing sorted and then another thing creeps back in. And that's, you know, all part of a little bit of being an handicap golfer. And you know, don't get frustrated by that, because you know it happens to all of us. And this might be quite refreshing for you guys to see, you know, it happening to Rob, because you know, it's natural, it's what happens. So shall we hit a few balls? Show them what's happening. Got Rob lined up to that silver birch. I'll just put a flag on the screen now. It's just right at that yellow trampoline. And we're going to have a look how he's hitting the ball. What would you say about your finish there, Rob?
I fell off it.
So you see how you're flat-footed here on your back foot? When
I fell through, I kind of fell backwards.
Yeah, so when you get that weight transfer right, you turn to target. Usually we get that heel off the floor.
I'm kind of quitting on the turn. I get to here, and then I thought instead of moving forward. Just hit another one for us. So obviously, guys, this is a real life lesson. You know, obviously there's going to be things that me and Rob just touch on, little reminders to Rob of what he might have sort of, you know, forgotten over these last few weeks as he's practicing new things. Well done. So you see how just that one little thing to Rob, and you've turned through. Look how his heel's off the floor there, and you've got that weight. You could tell with the sound of that strike, guys, how much cleaner that were. It's just the little triggers. Like with me, lads just said, it's posing. You've got to pose at the end, and that's the pose.
And I remember even playing off a single figure handicap when I was playing competitively. That was my swing foot. I remember that being one of my main swing foots, is hips and chest to target, and hold that pose at the end, because I remember being off sort of 6 or 7 handicap, whereas when I didn't get that right, when I forgot to turn my body, I'd always leave the ball out right and I'd strike it a little bit heavy. I wouldn't hit it very well. So it's such an important thing to just remember, no matter what level you're at, is don't forget to turn through your shot into your full finish.
I mean, like you said, and I've tried to get into the habit of having a method, having a thing, so I broke it down like, grip the club with my left hand, a line, tuck the shoulder in, remember to turn and look over my shoulder, and then swing through. But if I forget one of them...
Well, I think, you know, this is a great point you've just mentioned here, is that you can't take that many swing foots onto a golf course. You just can't. You've got to go with one. And the main one for me is what I've just said. It's turning your body through the shot. Hips and chest to target, hold your finish at the end. That's all you need, guys. You know, you don't need
by doing that, a
50-point plan.
You're automatically moving your weight.
Of course you are, yeah, to some degree. You know, and this swing foot's not over technical, is it? It's just disassociating things like your hands from the technique by thinking hips and chest and turn, you know, heel off the floor. It's basic body movement, and it's disassociating your hands from the technique, which, you know, you need, and you're going to see this today. Well done. And don't forget, keep your weight, keep your sort of stance shoulder width apart. Sometimes you just get a little bit narrow,
right.
and that's going to help or prevent you from transferring weight, because you're going to be so conscious that you know, you don't want to fall over. If your feet are narrow, you're not going to transfer weight
yeah, I've
so
got
well.
That is something else.
So don't forget.
That's about the right weight.
You're quite broad, you know, and your feet need to be at least shoulder width. That's better there.
See, that feels to me like it's way outside my shoulders, and it's not, is it?
Oh, it's definitely not. You're well within your shoulders. So just 2 reminders for Rob today. It's making sure you turn your body to target. I want to see that heel off the floor and holding that pose. And I want to see you, you know, standing with a little bit broader feet, so that you're not sort of reluctant to transfer weight. Unlucky Rob. Right, what we're going to do now, we're going to have a look at Rob swing in slow motion. We're going to have a look at the top of your swing to see whereabouts you are, to see if you're on plane, and see how we can, you know, get you starting this swing more on plane, because you've just got this bad habit of pulling with your hands, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know, and we're finding it hard with Rob to disassociate the hands from your technique. So could you just swing to the top of your backswing for me? And stop there. So that's pretty much where you're trying to get.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, right, okay. Now if you can hit a full swing for me.
Hit the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't good.
We're going to show you that swing in slow motion. I could even see with my naked eye, Rob, that it was this straight away. And Rob's been working on this now for at least 4 weeks, hasn't you? And, you know, you've sent me videos in between, you know, on your practice sessions, and it's just been an absolute struggle, hasn't it? And a lot of people relate to this who are struggling with that pull move over the top. So we're going to try to do this a little bit of a different way. You know, we're struggling to get your hands out of the technique. So we're going to try to use that to your advantage. And we're going to try to get your hands pulling into at least the right position. You know, and this isn't technically right. This is not what you'd see in a textbook. But as a golf coach, sometimes you have to work with what you've got.
Yeah.
You know, so if you swing to the top of your backswing, now what you'll see when we slowed that down, Rob from here, I mean, you was a little bit higher, because Rob can't turn any further than that. You know, obviously quite a big guy. So what you do in your real swing, you lift your hands keep moving, and you actually get overplayed a bit here.
Yeah.
But the worst thing is when you start to actually pull with your hands, you come this way.
Yeah.
So what we want to do, if you're going to actually pull with your hands, at least pull them into position. So we're going to try to get your hands pulling down, like you're pulling a church bell, towards the inside of your pocket here.
Yeah.
So almost if you think about your toes on your back foot, you want your hands pulling between your toes and the middle of your foot. So at least you're trying to get that club more, you know, on plane from the top. You're not pulling it sort of over plane this way. So for you, struggling to take your hands out of the technique, we're not going to try and disassociate them hands. We're going to try and recreate the path of them hands to get the club dropping more sort of back in line, you know, with your feet, so that then you can turn your body and strike the ball from the inside. You know, you can swing from the inside. So if you just swing to the top of your swing again. Good. And then from there, I want you to feel this pulling more in here.
Yeah.
All right. Don't worry about how you're going to strike the ball, Rob, because you will, as you turn your body, your hips and chest into that finish, your club will be delivered from here, and then obviously you'll be able to get a more into square to in path.
Right, let me have a go.
Well done. So swing it to the top. Remember, let's get that club sort of laid off on plane. That's it, good. And then good turn to target. Look it. Would you say they all sound a little bit thin?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's just because there's a little bit of a lack of width in your backswing. So as you're trying to pull these hands into position, you're sort of getting everything's steep and close. When we're talking about dropping them hands into position, so instead of sort of coming this way, we want you to get your hands coming more towards your back foot, but not like this, not pulling it into your body. Right. Because otherwise your club's coming down so steep, you're going to hit the top of the ball. So we're talking more about keeping this arm, obviously keeping the width, or in your swing, but your hands moving down towards your back foot, but from a shallow position. So they're coming down here.
Yeah.
And then from there, whereas I think you're doing more like this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting all scrunched up.
You're getting all scrunched up, then you hit to the top of the ball. So I just thought we'd better not, don't want anybody to misinterpret what we're doing here. So swing to top of your backswing again. That's it. And your hands, that's better. Your hands are coming from here.
Yeah. Yeah. It starts out going down and then...
Yeah, because you're wanting to sort of be shallow and sweep the... you want the club to pass your back foot.
Right.
Now that's better. Well done.
Yeah, that felt a lot
You got
better.
the bottom of the ball there, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you actually got a nice little bit of draw on the ball.
Hey, steady. Steady.
Excellent, that's 2 fantastic strikes. And that just shows you how things can be misinterpreted, don't they?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's good because I did think I was getting all, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But like I said, the key is this.
Yeah.
If I keep that straight, it is going to go down and then round, as opposed to...
I think as a golf coach, and you guys that sort of like to watch these sort of tutorials, you've got to be listening for strike. And once you start to get a pattern of bad strikes, whether it's thins or it's heavies, you've got to start thinking about, the angle of attack. Am I too steep? And in your case you were, and that's what were causing the top shot.
I mean, the difference between them 2 strikes and the ones before were massive.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you were attacking so steeply you could only hit halfway up the ball. So we've got you striking more now than Matt, sweeping the surface more. Keep a little bit of width in your swing. So just swing to the top of your backswing and stop. Good, well done. Keep that there. And then from here, feeling this position here. So it's dropping down, and then from there it's around and into your finish position.
I think this is what's causing me a lot of trouble. When I go up to here,
Yeah.
the club is it should be more like that.
Yeah.
Because if it's up there, if it's here, it's going to be harder for me to do the round.
Yeah, and it's going back to that drill of obviously keeping the club on plane, isn't it? Which you could use a alignment stick for. Well done. And I think that sort of feeling for you of getting the club, or feeling your hands pulling more in towards your pocket, keeping obviously width as well so that it doesn't get steep.
Yeah.
It's not a textbook move, but it's working for you, and I think it would work for bigger guys that struggle with, the power that they're creating from the shoulders and the hands is redirecting that power to get you more on plane.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do with these last few balls now is, because obviously, you've got into this groove now hitting balls, is put that into practice with your feet being shoulder width apart and turning into your finish.
Yeah.
And with them 2 swing foots, they're your basic swing foots that I'd expect you to have in a golf course, married up with this swing training that I'd expect you to have done on the driving range.
Yeah.
Let's see how you hit the ball. So you've got your 2 swing foots for the driving range, which are, swinging it back on plane and starting the hands delivering it into position. And then you've got your body move now, put that together, and you hit a decent shot.
Yeah.
But when you get on the golf course, I can't expect you to start to thinking of all this move. You know, that's got to be done on the driving range. Your 2 swing thoughts on the golf course.
It is. I mean, that's what I'd sense. Like I'd saying to Gary, I played the other day, and I started out being free and just doing it, but then I started to think about, and ended up with like 8 swing thoughts, and you've no chance then, have you? No chance.
But even in them last few balls there, I felt like Robert forgot about his body movement a little bit. You didn't have that professional pose. So that's why I want you to put that in now. Look at the difference when you put that together. Right at target. So we're just walking back down to the shop now, and I'm just saying to Rob there off camera, just to sort of conclude, I think, you know, Rob needs to revisit his weight transfer a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of slipped today, and you know, would have had a little bit of to do with why you were catching the top of the ball, because when you sort of start to get that reverse pivot, you start to get quite steep onto the ball, and but that's natural to sort of fall back into bad habits, as we've said before. And then, you know, I think we've got to accept that Rob has struggled trying to disassociate his hands from the technique, you know, and you pull quite heavily with your hands from top, don't you? Yeah. So we're just trying to sort of redirect them hands, you know, give Rob a little bit more understanding of where we'd like him to get, so that it doesn't throw you over playing, and try and get him at least, you know, closer to playing, and making some improvement, you know, making the most of what you've got, because, you know, Rob's a high handicap, and you know, we're not trying to build a scratch golfer swing. I mean, it'd be great if we could, but that is it's a high skill. It requires a lot of skill, and you know, we've got to keep moving you forward so that you keep enjoying your golf. And if we can get you, you know, down 3 or 4 strokes just by striking the ball a little bit cleaner.
I mean, I'd like to, by middle of summer, next summer, is be shooting about 15 or 16.
Well, I mean, that's the dream, isn't it? That's the dream, and to do that, I think sometimes we've got to, you know, help or give you a swing, give you something to think about that's easy to implement, something that you're comfortable to implement. And I think for Rob, you know, this will be something that's a little bit easier to implement, and help us get a little bit cleaner.
It's just being able to repeat it.
Yeah. We hope you've enjoyed that, guys, and hopefully we'll see Rob in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, definitely.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Thanks, Rob.